as I've already mentioned that we are discussing variables and independent variables. What's the difference between independent and dependent variables? So I found this article for you, and this article talks about how you're going to identify. So the basic purpose of this is that whenever you are researching and you are finding some difficulty in this, so the dependent variable is always always for which you are finding that's an effect, right? So there is a cause and effect relationship. So something causes something, and the end result of it is what you get. So the problem which we will be discussing in your thesis, that problem itself would be a dependent variable, and the way it will be, change and maneuver with the other variable which is independent variable. So it will be the cause of that the dependent variables arise. So whatever could be measured is your dependent variable, and whatever you can manipulate and change, that's your independent variable. And if it doesn't make sense to you, let's continue and read some examples about it. So for instance, sunlight exposure is an independent variable, right? And the dependent variable is the plant's growth, which is the end result. If you are concerned about a growth and writing about something how it grows, then there will be independent variables which will be the part of it in the process of growing it, and the other thing would be dependent variable would be the end result, right? So for any researcher, if for instance you are talking about, and these are the ways you can identify, if you can look in it, it says like, is this a variable manipulated by the researcher, yes or no? These are the answers you're gonna think of, and then you'll be arriving at, is it a dependent or an independent? Then there's a next question which you can ask, which is, does this variable cause an outcome? So if it causes an outcome, then obviously it's a dependent variable, right? So is this variable result of another variable? If it's that, then it's a dependent variable. So if it's yes to some yeses, and the first one if you have no, then you will arrive at that this is a dependent variable. I think it makes sense altogether, and now we should move on to the next part, which I want to tell you how we skim read. So we will open some Google Scholar articles. So I have typed in, okay, so inside Google Scholar, okay, so here we are, and so in this we can type in the article which you were talking about, that women empowerment, women empowerment, right? Okay, so we have got some articles in front of us. Let's see the first one, and let me tell you how you wanna read it. So this is women empowerment and economic development. There's an article. First thing up, you will see the title, women empowerment, economic development. Yes, it's pretty relevant. Then the next thing which you're gonna read is abstract. You have to read it twice or thrice to understand what's going on. So women empowerment, economic development are closely related, and empowering women, like this is how I skimmed it, empowering women may benefit development, and then I skim read over here, interrelationship probably weak and self-sustaining. So the women self-sustaining, probably weak, these are the things which are you have to find out, is it the cause or is it the effect? So what's affecting women empowerment? Women empowerment is your topic, right? So women empowerment is the dependent variable. So whereas the independent variables are these weak, self-sustaining. So you already found out how you're going to get it, you know, And let's read the entire article if we can. So far we cannot read it. Let's open another one which we can read. So here's an article for you, and let's see. So it's talking about something else, but when you skim read the things, first thing is you see the title, right? And then you skim read the like very few lines of the above one, then in between the lines, and then you will be figuring out what are dependent and independent variables based on cause and effect, which will be very clear to you. So I don't know why I am not finding any article. So yeah. So as you can see on my screen right now, here. So the thing is that we will read the first few lines. The empowerment, autonomy of the women, improvement, their political, social, economical, health status is highly important and itself. So this is what it's talking about, right? So this is the end statement. We are talking about empowerment and autonomy, right? They're the two things we are talking about. So these are our dependent variables. Now we will find our independent variables. The full participation of partnership of both women and men is required to productive and reproductive life. So it's talking about the partnership. First thing, this is your independent variable. Then we cover on, and we will see in the most region world women receive less formal education. This is another one. Less formal education is the other variable, independent variable, right? So here you go and continue reading it. So the way you should skim read it, just look at the titles. Government, and government should take measures to promote fulfillment of the goals. This is how you do, and you will continue along, and you will end your research really nicely. Okay, I hope you find this content really for you better, and then we cover it pretty much. Thank you so much.